Hello, everybody. Brett Mix here from Ultra Wrestling 101 for the Monday Night Wars. This is week 103 for the WWF side. As always, you can archive these, so for whenever you go back and watch the Monday Night Wars, you can check these episodes out. I love dishing them out, so hit like and subscribe if you're into them. Today we look at the 103rd week of the two Titans clashing. We got Raw with a 2.3 rating this week. Nitro pulled a 4.3. So WCW wins for the 65th week in a row in the Wars, and by a full 2 points in the ratings this week. Raw all-time versus WCW since the war started are 17 wins, 84 losses, and 2 draws through the 103 weeks. So this show went live Monday night on the USA Network, October the 27th, 1997. It took place from the Tulsa Convention Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Raw opened up with Pyro and the Thorn in Your Eyes awesome video opening to the show. JR King opened with talking about the fans and their freedom of expression, and they do that because, of course, WCW at the time was a little bit muted. Their crowds are a bit more muted than the WWF, and McMahon loves pointing that out. Farouk said, "We came out here to address there's no racism in the WWF," as it starts out with McMahon saying, "Let's welcome the nation of domination." So they come out, and Farouk says he wants to address there's no racism after the vandalism in their locker room last week. Farouk wanted answers. McMahon apologized on behalf of whoever did it for the WWF, and Farouk wondered how you could apologize for 400 years of racism. Then Rocky took the mic and told the crowd to quiet down for a second. He's wearing a t-shirt with a giant R on it. It's funny seeing how far Dwayne Johnson has come from this to his early Rocky Maivia days. Rock says, "Heart Foundation, you made this a personal thing. It is a black and white thing." He says he's dealt with discrimination in his life, and every time he walks down the street, he damn sure pop back up. Rock says, "Heart Foundation, I'll tell you how to deal with it, but when I knock your asses down, you won't get back up." Farouk said, "We are challenging you to a match next week, and you'll accept the challenge." The Hart Foundation then comes to the ring on top of the stage to address the nation. Brett says, "First of all, we accept any challenge." Brett says he comes from a country with there is no racial prejudice in Canada. And Brett says, "Farouk, your problem is with DX and not the Hart Foundation." HBK and Triple H then go to the screen and they're backstage saying, "How dare you accuse us of something else so vile?" Sean didn't stop there. He said to the nation that Brett is in denial and only cares about his image. He's a racist, and he used the N-word. Before Brett could even react to that, the nation cleared the ring as they hear the N-word. The word the N-word, not the actual N-word, but the word the N-word. And the nation run up the ramp when it happened, and then made them all brawl together in the ring. We get to the first match. Rick Rude cut a heel promo before the match began. "What I'd like to have right now," etc., etc. Opening matches, Hunter Hearst Helmsley with Chyna and Shawn Michaels against Goldust with Marlena. This wasn't much of a match as much as it was talking and off-topic stuff. Helmsley hit with a low blow. Goldust crashed to the floor. Helmsley in control, but took too much time stalling. HBK on commentary trying to be his funny, highly energetic self. Chyna nailed Goldust with Marlena's purse before the official could get to him. Helmsley with Goldust hit the pedigree. Triple H then used the crotch chop a little bit too much in this match. Triple H wins at 5:35 after outside interference. I give the match a 1.5 stars. Cornette does another work shoot promo on Piper and Hogan, still calling themselves the icons in the business, and promoted guys like Flair, Taker, and Austin because they never called themselves the icons. Ahmed Johnson took on Owen Hart next for the Intercontinental Championship. Ahmed Johnson chases around Owen around the ring, playing mind games. Owen tries to put out power Ahmed, which doesn't take effect. He closed Owen down into the mat. Ahmed hit a spinebuster hard to Owen. Next is the Pearl River Plunge after his signature move, the spinebuster. But he's giving Owen Owen lost by DQing his opponents, thus giving them the win because Ahmed won by DQ at course of 6:17 after Austin stunned him and the fans went crazy. Stone Cold just ran into the ring, stunned Ahmed, and gave him the victory. So basically what Austin's doing is giving all of Owen's opponents the victory, and he's making sure Owen retains the title without getting the victory money. So he's making sure that Owen has the IC title for a Survivor Series for his revenge, so he can take the Intercontinental title off the man that paralyzed him, and then DQing him at the same time, making sure his opponents get the victory, but not the title that he wants to take after him. Mankind then comes to the ring with business at hand. Mankind says Dude Love wanted to have fun, but JR showed Dude being chokeslammed on the ramp twice, giving Foley a concussion. Mankind says he's disturbed by Uncle Paul, who parted ways without a single word, an unspoken truth. I don't bother you, you don't bother me, but last week bothered him, so now he's got no choice but to make your life a living hell. Mankind says he's going to serve notice and think back to the Boiler Room Brawl, buried alive. It'll take Kane or I'll die trying. Mankind says he will take him on and he's an impervious pain and he'll find a way. Commissioner Slaughter comes to the ring and says, look at your mental state and Kane's domination. The WWF won't sanction or approve a match with Kane and Mankind. Slaughter says, for your own safety, your request is denied. Foley even said, please, to the Commissioner Slaughter, who said no. Then Foley said, okay, well, I've got to take matters in my own hands. Then Foley gave the mandible claw as Mankind to Commissioner Slaughter, and right to his gullet, says McMahon on commentary. Next up, we had a really good technical match. Bret Hart defended the WWF title against Ken Shamrock. This would be Bret's final match on Raw, this run anyway. I don't know if people count his 2010 match with The Miz as an actual match, but this is his last match in 97 during this run against the UFC's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. Bret goes into a hammerlock, and Shamrock switches to the side headlock, a standing switch, then off the ropes, a beautiful takedown. He goes to work on the ankle, and then he gets out of it and tries to get down to his vertical base. Does Ken Shamrock. He's trying to lower the man for leverage advantage. Bret then came back in the match and focused on the knee joint and old Dory Funk strategic wrestling here. Bret dropped his body weight onto his ankle on the ropes. Very methodical and strategic. Then a DDT out of nowhere, followed by a spinning toe hold. This has been a good technical match. Bret is Irish whipped into the steel steps on the outsides. Shamrock scores with a belly-to-belly suplex. Couldn't neutralize the leg. A lateral press, which was failed. The Hitman countered with a clothesline and then goes for the sharpshooter. The official is down and Shamrock has got the ankle. Shamrock should be the new champion, says JR. Bret then used a chair into Shamrock. Bret then had the sharpshooter on Shamrock and HBK super kicks Bret Hart in the face. The officials couldn't pull the men apart. The match ended in a no contest due to both sides being disqualified at 12:15. I gave the match 3 stars. Bret and HBK just brawled in the middle of the ring, but the craziness had the WWF officials trying to separate both men. Bret says in this promo, you'll be excellently executed and there will be nowhere to run in his home country of Canada and Montreal at the Survivor Series. Badass Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg took on the new Blackjacks. Road Dogg does more mic work this week as shown by last week. They're the winners at 205 are Badass Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg, who still don't have their Outlaws name yet, but they are definitely united, and they give that 3/4 of a star. Afterwards, the Godwins, the Blackjacks, and all of the tag teams like the Headbangers started to brawl as they all meet at the Survivor Series. Kane and Paul Bearer walk to the ring to Kane's music with a red flashing light. Bearer says Kane was here to make The Undertaker's life a living hell. But Paul says Kane knows what it's like to live in hell, and Bear says, Undertaker, your day is coming, Judgment Day, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust, and he also talks about Mankind as well. Backstage, DX with childish jokes making an ass out of themselves as HBK moons the camera. China and Triple H move signs that say DX in the way from Michaels' butt back and forth. So they're just more childlike antics by the DX to the camera crew. Mark Merrill with Flash Funk, some contrasting styles, some nice maneuvers in this match. I gave it a star and a quarter as Merrill hit him with the TKO and the win at 3:45. They do another piece on Jeff Jarrett, who cuts a promo, a shoot, talking about how it was in WCW. Now it's not like that in the WWF, but he came from both, and he's expecting more in each company. The main event in the ring was Legion of Doom versus Los Boricuas for the tag team titles. Yeah, you heard that right. The main event was LOD versus the Los Boricuas. Only 2 of them, of course, of the 4 Los Boricuas. Miguel Perez with Hawk spots an opening on his shoulder. The LOD get some outside interference as Miguel was tripped, and LOD get a rather easy decision. I gave the match half a star. After the match, they interview Ahmed Johnson, and he's yelling at the camera, telling the camera that he's coming for them. They end the show with this little promo, which wasn't captivating at all. It was just Ahmed Johnson yelling a bunch of incoherent words that we couldn't understand. Quality-wise, I give this show right here a 5 out of 10. It was carried by the Shamrock-Bret match just to a passing grade with the Mankind-Kane substance, with Austin's appearance. It was underwhelming, to put it mildly, but it really makes a lot of sense that Nitro scored a 4.3 and Raw scored a 2.3 on this night. Nitro deserved the win by the full 2 points. But that's it for this week's Raw. I'm sure it's going to get better as they do better in the ratings next week, but we'll see then when we review then. I'm Brett Mix. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.